I watch Fear Street Prom Queen, so you don't have to, and honestly, as a Fear Street stan, it pains me to say that. Netflix took horror fans by storm in the summer of 2021 when they released 3 interconnected stories in the Fear Street world. They explored the cursed town of Shadyside through 1666, 1978, and 1994. Now the franchise returns with a standalone slasher set on prom night in 1988 called Fear Street Prom Queen. This is the first film in the series to be inspired by a specific R.L. Stine book, The Prom Queen, instead of just pulling from the wider Fear Street lore. I did reread the book and I'll say it's definitely loosely based. We follow Laurie Granger, played by India Fowler, who is this bland outsider vying for the title of prom queen against the most popular girls in school, who constantly bully her about her family's own cursed past. But as prom night approaches, the candidates slowly start disappearing. Who is taking them out? Fear Street Prom Queen drops us into what feels like a Temu Stranger Things version of the 80s, where the most authentic thing about it is the soundtrack. Fowler's Laurie lacks the bite needed to believably go up against the meanest girls in school for prom royalty, and I think a more intriguing entry point could have been if someone put her name in as a joke. Instead, Laurie stays this very meek, one-note character, while her bullies continue to recycle the same old, tired lines over and over again the entire movie about her family's tragic past. There's barely any development for these characters, so the motivations don't land, and it's hard to feel invested in anybody's arc. Despite some exciting names in this cast, I feel like the actors were underutilized and given plot points that didn't really go anywhere. One of the things I liked about the book was that everything was happening leading up to prom night, so there was a lot of movement. Whereas this story is mostly confined to prom night, which makes the film feel limited and small in scope. There are some gruesome murders, I mean that paper chopping scene was pretty crazy, and a few campy moments that work, but overall the humor just fell flat. It's missing the edge that actual movies from the 80s had, and instead feels like a watered down attempt to hit those beats without actually adding any substance. Key moments feel unearned, illogical, sluggish, or just plain repetitive, as the story never really builds momentum. The highlight of the film to me was the rare moments where we got to see the horror movie Easter eggs or the Fear Street trilogy Easter eggs come into play, and I wish this connected back a little bit more there. Despite so much material to pull from, this is definitely the weakest entry in the Fear Street saga. What really made Lee Janiak's Fear Street trilogy stand out was her clear vision and bold direction. She put queer characters of color, at the center of their own horror stories, not just as sidekicks or victims, but as the actual heroes. And I think Fear Street Prom Queen is missing that spark. The reveal of the killer was especially disappointing to me, as they fell back on that worn-out slasher trope of the jilted lover. I just didn't think it was enough motivation to justify this like decades-long grudge leading to this bloodshed. I found Fear Street Prom Queen to be just a completely forgettable slasher that feels like a waste of time. Let me know what you think.